On November 29th, the streamer Destiny non-consensually shared my nudes, making me victim of revenge porn. I will be suing him in federal court. Here's my story. My dignity, peace of mind, and hopes for the future were stripped away in a mere matter of seconds following the betrayal of someone I previously trusted.
TLDR, the claim is that he sent nudes to X random person without her knowledge. X got hacked, hacker leaks it. That's kind of shit behavior though. If allegedly true that you send to somebody pictures of somebody else, that's absolute boiled.
Others told me that Pxie thought it would be appropriate for me to pay her anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million. Pxie has now said her intention to sue me and is fundraising for that. I don't believe I violate any laws, and as Pxie has made that clear what she wants to do, I will have to let the evidence and legal filings speak for themselves. Yeah, this one's gonna be a bit of a doozy. If you guys remember from last November, I covered the story of Destiny's leaks coming out from a hacker and then being spread around on Kiwi farms, which of course then started spawning on more used platforms like Twitter. And yeah, honestly, that was insane. Of course, for anyone, having like nudes or explicit material come out about you, especially when it involves other people, that would just suck so fucking bad. But back then, in my video, I expressed how I felt bad for Destiny because I don't believe anyone should be subjected to that humiliation. However, now in recent, I learned more information about the story that makes me somewhat disgusted by him in regards to the material. To explain what I'm talking about, one of the women involved in the videos was a streamer known as Pxie, who, from what I understand, was aware and fine with the videos being recorded, but had no idea that they were being sent to close friends of Destiny. At which point, I'm not sure who, but one of those friends was hacked, and then those videos were then uploaded to Kiwi farms. So now fast forward, and now Pxie has publicly stated that she wants to sue Destiny for sharing these videos and for trauma she suffered from all of this. And the way this came out was from this tweet on her own Twitter saying, on November 29th, the streamer Destiny non-consensually shared my nudes, making me victim of revenge porn. I will be suing him in federal court. Here's my story. The one thing I say right off the bat is that I'm not sure if it would count as revenge porn, because from what I've seen, from what I've prepped for this video, there's been no proof from her, from Destiny, in its response that there was any malice involved, which I feel like, would be necessary to make it count as revenge porn. Anyways, as it reads, I will be suing Stephen Kenneth Bonnell II. On November 29th, I learned that the streamer Destiny had non-consensually shared pornographic content of me online. My dignity, peace of mind, and hopes for the future were stripped away in a mere matter of seconds following the betrayal of someone I previously trusted. I am at least a third person he has done this to. I'm not a big fan of, I'm like, a bigger history cover of Destiny, so I can't really comment. I'm more, talking about this in general. I can't really comment on the previous situations. I hope to be the last. I will not be commenting on the experience of the other women that he has heard, as it is not my place or story to tell. I will, however, share my story in the hopes of preventing this from occurring again. I have known Destiny for around 5 or 6 years now, and often find himself in a heavy disagreement with him. Despite this, I do my best to see the best sides of all people, try my hardest to spread positivity and create understanding where I can. It's corny, but I want to meet people where they are and focus on which way we can build a bridge together and towards a better future for everyone. Some people call it a fault of mine. They claim I am naive and should be more careful. Those people are right. When I was 19, or 5 years ago, I was extremely sexually inexperienced and sheltered. Being severely terrified of leading someone on or being sexually assaulted, I thought I could trust Destiny, who I had multiple long conversations with regarding consent and boundaries. So you can imagine my surprise when I discovered he distributed pornographic content of me without my consent. Yes, you read that right. Stephen Kenneth Bonnell II, if I'm saying that right, sent pornographic content of me to a random 9-year-old girl, E-Girl, this called Kitten, whom he had never met before, and then she published the whole word. Rest assured, despite never having met her, he at least spoke to her plenty of times on the phone. I think in this story he's referring to that character Rose, which he has spoken to, but I'm not sure about this story. I mean, I'll read more of this. Of course, this is what he says happened. I think it's just as likely that he used her as a proxy to widely distribute this material while claiming deniability. I'm not sure about that, because I'm pretty sure the main story from what I've seen is that he sent it to friends, and then they got hacked, and that hacked material got up on Kiwi farms. I think taking the story like it was sent to the eagle on Discord may not be true, but it's being stretched as the worst way possible. Being like intentionally done to be like revenge porn. Even though there's been no proof of that just yet, which if it was done this way, I guess it would be. You could show like how he did intentionally, to cover up cover up his own tracks. But yeah, nothing has been shown so far. I do feel bad for Destiny because it was his leaks of himself doing some stuff. I know he is also involved, but again, the worst fact from it is that it involved a person that gave no consent to have the material be shared around. So this whole story is fucked, but from her side, she probably came out the worst from it. Because like I said, she gave no consent to have that stuff shared around. I don't understand why Destiny would knowingly and willingly put me in a position where I would receive non-stop sexual abuse and harassment. If we believe him, he's trying to impress a barely legal teenager using my body and my privacy. The betrayal coupled with the hundreds of messages I've received filled with sexual harassment and abuse have left me feeling hopeless and devoid of almost all happiness. Again, I feel like to back up this statement, saying impress a barely legal teenager. I mean, she was 19 from what I've seen before, but I'm not sure if he sent any of those videos to her. Like if you had evidence, if you backed it up, that'd been great. But yeah, nothing of that fashion has been shown so far, or throughout this whole document. The only thing that's kept me going is the hope that I can bring this man to justice and have him face legal consequences for his actions. For the past month, I have been speaking to lawyers about my situation and what to do. I have decided that this is the best course of action. I will be suing him for violating U.S. Federal Code 15 U.S.C. 6851, civil action relating to disclosure of intimate images and for publication of private facts in Florida. I will be seeking emotional and punitive damages for his actions. I've been told that a court case like this could potentially cost me over tens of thousands of dollars. I am terrified. I mean, this guy talks about potentially suing Hassan as if for fun, and Hassan actually has the resources to defend himself. I cannot imagine what he might try to do to me in the process. Sometimes I wonder if he does this as an intimidation tactic. I wonder if he purposely tries to put fear into my heart when he actually talks about throwing money into a lawsuit with a multi-millionaire who can fight back, as if it's an indirect flaunt or warning over his capability of outspending me in whatever legal case I throw at him. At the request of my friends, I've encouraged to link my GiveSendGo regarding this case here in hopes that we can raise enough money for me to legally succeed. This is probably like the weakest point in my opinion to the whole. I mean, I feel bad for her from the very beginning, but this part doesn't really make sense. To prove he wants to fuck you over to an insane degree in court, you need proof from an insider of how he that would be his plan. Also later, as you'll see, this paragraph doesn't line up to the rest of the story, where Destiny showed proof that he wants to sort this out respectfully and amicably with Pxie. So to say he wants to threaten you to not go to court with him, you would need some more evidence. But yeah, it hasn't been shown. With Destiny, I don't feel like that's the case. And also with Hassan as well, he hates that guy, so he would joke about that. But with someone, as you see later, he does have some respect for Pxie, and he does want to help her out, so pay her back for the way she's, for the harassment she received from this. Whoever the next Joe Rogan of the left is, it cannot be someone that crosses sexual boundaries, violates consent, and puts women's well-being and safety at risk. It cannot be someone who puts women in positions where they will be sexually abused and harassed. It concerns me that Destiny has been interviewing potential DNC chair candidates such as Marianne Williamson or Martin O'Malley, who have no idea of what he's done. As time passes, he tries to position himself to have interviews with increasingly powerful figures such as Zelensky. I can't help but be filled with fear that Destiny might continue to succeed despite facing no repercussions for his actions. If the Democratic Party wishes to succeed in the future, it cannot be a party that accepts the sexual exploitation of women. It cannot be a party that allows men like Destiny to bring into the mainstream. For allowing him access to such spaces would be a direct endorsement of his behavior. I've been told that a payout might not be worth the harassment and tension I will receive. In an ideal world, I would do it privately, but I've been told that there is no realistic way the court will grant me anonymity. This means my only option is public. I've been told by a variety of people to not go public. I've been told by some people that Steven really does feel sorry, but I am not inclined to believe them, especially taking into consideration his actions regarding me. Regardless, what Destiny did is unacceptable, and I believe he will do this again unless he faces justice. Let me be clear, Destiny has violated federal law and his transgressions against me. He has violated my consent and is directly responsible for the sexual abuse I have received. I am terrified, and then the rest, the evidence log. And from these screenshots he showed of Destiny apologizing, Destiny downplaying and trying to pay some bills, it does seem to like line up. But also, before I move on to Destiny response, with these screenshots, it does show Destiny wanting and trying to fix this. Because there is no way to like actually fully fix it, because those videos, they're up on the internet. But I think to say that he wants to ruin you and call, outbid you or outlaw you with how much money he has, it doesn't really like line up with this, him trying to fix it and get you a good middle ground, and also with the proof that he has, which I'll go for now. Because then recently he put like his own statement, his own response to this on his own subreddit, r/Destiny, and it's called "Legal Arc Beginning in Mysterious Ways." Such wow, and it goes: sometime in November, extremely sensitive and personal material of mine was leaked. This affected not only me but many people in my life. I want to be clear. The leak happened without my knowledge, consent, or authorization. I never had an intention of any of these images to be published. I've spoken out publicly regarding the situation for a few reasons. Number one, I am actively pursuing criminal and civil litigation on these matters against multiple parties. Number two, speaking publicly about these materials brings more attention to them, which harms all the victims involved. Number three, I've been trying to move on from covering drama content, as it had had an increasingly negative impact on those in my life. Number four, one person involved has expressed suicidal thoughts in relation to the matter, and I did not want to exacerbate the situation by talking about it publicly. Because there are now multiple parties involved in the litigation, it's unlikely I will be able to answer any questions until pending litigation has been resolved. Understandably, could take like years upon years, like a long ass time. That said, though I am limited in what I can say, it's important that people know about my recent communication with and regarding Pxie, someone who I was friends with and collaborated with on many occasions. Since the leaks were first circulated, Pxie has stressed to me that keeping things out of public eye was important to her, and shows proof of this, which again, to be fair, throughout every screenshot he shows, of like the Discord messages, there does seem to be like an air of being friendly, like sorting out professionally. I think, like I said, before, with stuff like this, you can't really fix it. It would be untrue to say that Destiny does not care about Pxie, because, there is proof of that right now in the screenshot that he shared, which I'll show, by the way, as well on the screen. I've always said that I would do my best not to confirm or publicize anything, and I kept my word. On December 11th, I received a message from a mutual acquaintance named Laura Hayden, known online as Lauren Delaguana, who has a legal background. Lauren has had a negative sentiment towards me after I rejected her romantic advances earlier this year. I understand that she has organized a fundraiser to support Pxie's lawsuit against me, and assume that she has been counseling Pxie on how to proceed. That same day, I received a message from Pxie, where she suggested she would create a post about me that would go live after she committed suicide. This concerned me greatly. I genuinely believe that she was still in mental anguish following the leak weeks earlier. I responded in earnest, doing what I could do to reassure her and letting her know that she had every right to pursue legal course of action. At no stage did I try to convince her otherwise. This was a highly emotional, volatile time, and my main concern was her well-being. And again, from this screenshot, with someone like him, he's probably not in the best spot to give her advice, because he did cause this from the very first step. But he's giving good advice, so decent advice, to how to get better. Like saying stuff like how stuff like this, it does suck 100%. But with the nature of the internet, it will slowly die out. For him to say that, it doesn't have the same impact. It's still a good sign, that he does care for her. At least in the beginning stage of the leaks of this controversy. A few hours later, I messaged a mutual friend, Straight Raid, who I knew should be particularly close with Pxie. We tried to figure out the best way forward in terms of making things right, or as right as they could be for Pxie. In our conversation, we spoke about things I could do to alleviate the toll on Pxie's mental health. I took Straight Raid's suggestions and presented them to Pxie. I explicitly offered to help her financially, having communicated to me that she was also financial pressure while dealing with the matter. I think that's fair as well. Even in the first screenshot that she showed in this document, it doesn't feel like, she's trying to make it seem like how that was Destiny's try to compensate her by just that and only that. But no, it does feel like, it does show a sign of consideration. Pxie responded saying that whatever price she would ask for would be too high and only result in making her feel worse. There's an older screenshot from our conversation. It appears that she has since deleted only that message, as it is no longer in our conversation history. Later in a conversation with Straight Raid, she told me that Pxie seemed to want me to cover her entire tuition for law school. Others told me that Pxie thought it would be appropriate for me to pay her anywhere from 500,000 to 1 million. At no point did Pxie make a specific or explicit request for financial compensation. I don't blame for like not having evidence, because if only other people said that and not Pxie herself, there's no way to prove that directly. I think sometime on December 13th, Pxie unfriended me on Discord. It became clear that no amount of that I agreed to would be satisfactory by nature, or the fact that I agreed to it. Third parties communicated that the point of any financial compensation would be to punish me. That language was incredibly frustrating to hear secondhand. I had already shown a willingness to make things right as best I could. I spent time talking to mutual friends of ours with the intention to help address concerns over mental health and suicidal thoughts, the sincerity of which I generally believed. I was objectively harmed by the situation and was actively seeking to find a solution that worked well for everyone. I am not sure where Pxie got the idea that she needs to financially punish me. In this text message, Pxie reiterates that she doesn't want any criminal penalties for me, just big financial ones. In her position, anyone for her, they wouldn't want you to sue him as much as possible. Even his message, it doesn't seem that bad. The worst he says against Destiny is that she wants to get enough out of him that it wouldn't be easy to recover from. It wouldn't be enough to ruin him for the rest of his life, but enough it'd be quite hard to recover from. Some of my most personal messages haven't gone out to the world because of what happened, including multiple incredibly explicit videos of mine, many of which have been forwarded to family members and colleagues. If images come out which has irrevocably damaged my personal relationships, this saga has been a nightmare for all parties involved. Her accusation that I likely used a proxy to widely distribute this material while claiming deniability is extremely hurtful. And I agree with that. There was no proof of that at the time, and I honestly, despite how bad he looks in this situation, I don't think that was his intention at all in the first place. I flat out cannot believe that anyone would think I intentionally leaked this material to the public. I increasingly felt uncomfortable by language being used regarding financial punishment and wanted to teach me a lesson, along with constant reference to the precariousness of someone's mental health. It no longer felt productive to engage with conversations. As it well documented at the start of this, I was completely willing to make things right with Pxie. At this point, I just tell people close to me that if Pxie wants to pursue legal action against me, she's always free to do so, but I don't feel comfortable talking to her or about her until at the very least my current legal actions have run their course. It has been brought to my attention that Pxie has now tried to re-add me as a friend, but I've ignored the request. I never told anyone what they can or cannot speak about, but I always left the option open to them. Despite what some people have said, I have never threatened Pxie with litigation or NDA'd anyone. My goal was to respect the wishes of the people who have been affected by the leak. Pxie has now said her intention to sue me and is fundraising for that. I don't believe I violate any laws. As Pxie has made that clear what she wants to do, I will have to let the evidence and legal filings speak for themselves. It's unfortunate that has come to this, but it means that all communications with her or Lauren, who may or may not be representing her, will have to be through counsel. And there you go, what a long ass statement. So overall, I think in this whole thing is very fucked, because if I'm writing the story that these were videos sent to Destiny's friends and it got hacked, that would be the worst luck possible. Because if you want to send those videos, fair enough. But if it includes someone that has no consent or no idea that you're doing so, then yeah, that's very fucked. I think the most charitable take for Destiny, if you care about him, is that it wasn't sending it to everyone. He sent to people that he trusted. But if it includes someone that hasn't given you consent or has no idea about it, then yeah, that's really fucked. And honestly, before I haven't really cared much about Destiny, but yeah, seeing someone like Pxie speak out about it, how they've been mentally affected by it, I think now Destiny is a pretty deplorable person. Despite his efforts trying to fix it, even though at this point it won't really do much. However, I'd have to say that with all the receipts that Destiny showed, it is clear, like I said, they either want to reach a good middle ground with Pxie, which I can respect that, because from what she said before in this document, in the one that she made in a tweet, she made it seem like he wants to ruin her, pay so much money that she has no hope to combat against him in court. Even though in reality, it would be untrue to say that. He clearly, in the beginning, and even now potentially, he does actually want to compensate her because he does feel some guilt, as evident in the screenshots in the DMs. But despite all of that, considering the lack of care and consent that these videos were handled with, I think Pxie is in every moral and legal right to sue Destiny. Of course, even though, there has been mention of lawyers being involved or attorneys, I think we're a long way from hearing more about this. Because, lawsuits like this, they don't get sorted out so simply. It could take years till we hear how it got resolved. But honestly, I think with the way that Destiny has responded to this, and the proof he's brought up, it is clear, like I said, he wants to reach a good middle ground with Pxie instead of fighting a long battle in court where he comes out the best way possible. But at the end of the day, however, this could have all been avoided by just the simple, respectful decision to now share those videos, unless he consented to it. Where if that was the case, then yeah, we would not be here right now at all.